didn't. You know, they did it themselves. They had no one else help them. They built all their own damn roads. They built all their own water treatment plants. They did anything. And then they want to say anything you do as community is socialism. Well, the fact is, we have determined, and this is what we need to call them on. That's why your congressman should be standing here and listening to Carol and say, why was he okay when he answered a question coming out from the press when they said, are you okay with the cuts to Medicare and Medicaid? And he said, yeah, I'm fine with them. What that means is he is making a determination that we long ago agreed that we're kind of in this together. And but by the grace of God goes each and every one of us. And the money that we put in makes sure that each one of us gets those services we need. And we are not doing a good enough job of telling the stories of why they matter to each and every one of us. Again, if you're a billionaire, you don't give one shit if you get a Social Security check, because you don't need one. It's the same thing. It's the same thing when they complain about property taxes, and then local small communities don't have any money, so they can't have a local swimming pool that's a municipal swimming pool. Well, if you've got one in your backyard, you don't give a damn about the municipal swimming pool. This whole thing about selfishness and about, again, if you're talking about school vouchers, that is a tax giveaway to the wealthy who are already getting it. Talk about nothing else. Doesn't do anything else. So we as Democrats have to use our language better. We have to tell the stories of why this impacts people. And then we have to make the case, by the way, for our economic growth. Okay, they're complaining that we're spending money on early childhood education. For every dollar you spend on early childhood education, you get $12 back into the economy. $12 back. For everything that we teach a child, like Carol's child or my child, that they're able to be more self-sufficient when they get out of school, they're able to then pay their taxes and be part of society. Not only do they live a high-quality life, it makes things work better. And we've allowed them to make this pitch that it's about the wealthy are creating all these jobs and we can't tax them or whatever. I'm just saying this, maybe you knew this. He's brighter than I am. He might have known this. When I got to Congress, I went through my first year. You go in there and they give you, they do that in-processing briefing, and they said, well, you're gonna have to recognize many of you are gonna take a pay cut. And I'm sitting there as a public school teacher saying, my God, this is 4 times more money than I've ever seen. But I got to August and my check went up. And I looked at my pay stub and I said, why am I getting more money on this? And I said, oh, they made a mistake. They're not taking out Social Security anymore. So I went to the payroll office and I said, you made a mistake. And they said, they're looking at me like, you're a congressman, you should know this shit. They said, there's a cap on Social Security and you don't pay it after you make that much. And I'm like, well, that's a ripoff. Why is that the case? If anybody tells you Social Security's in trouble, it's a very simple fix. Just have everybody pay Social Security on the money they make. That's all you have to do. Very simple. All of us do. We all do. Did you know that there was a cap? There's a cap. Yeah, they're stealing your money. We got to do better. Remember they did the whole defund police thing, which of course we were not doing? They're defunding America, and they're really doing it. They're defunding not just the police, they're defunding Social Security, they're defunding our schools, they're defunding defense, they're defunding the roads. We got to get better at our messaging. If we're fighting, go there. Defunding our libraries. Yeah, we got it.
All right, let's get, I'm going to try to get as many people in the time that we have left. Let's get Marley Rivera from Missouri City. Do I have Marley?
I'll go faster.
No, you're...
God, I remember now what was hard about Houston. It's hot as hell in Houston. So, and it's just, I'm like a snowman. I'm like melting. I'm like a snowman.
We're going to go to Amber. We're going to go to Amber Fannin. Amber, here you go.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, how are you? Thank you both for coming out here. I just want to say it's surreal. I watched you at the DNC as a national delegate, and now I'm standing here and talking to you today. It's amazing. Little background about myself. I am from Harris County. I'm a VDR. I started... As a VDR, I started in Jefferson County, which is rural Texas. I went to Lamar University, go Cards. And so this is my question for you all. How does the party plan to return to its roots of advocating for working class? In Texas, rural communities have been largely neglected. What is the plan to engage and support them besides the town halls that we're having today?
Yeah, no, that's right.
Thank you. Good job.
Well, again, the National Party serves a purpose, but that's not the leadership. They're not going to come save us, but they do have the resources. And we were talking about this earlier. When we fight these 7 swing state presidential elections, no money goes to the other states, which means there's no money for the local party, there's no money for the local congressional candidate, there's no money for the local school board member, whatever it would be. We bled them dry, and over the years, Republicans went out and won all of these local seats. They won all of this, and they invested. So I said, look, they always say it's not always about the money. Sometimes it sure is. And we need to make sure that we're funding our parties in our states. We need to make sure that local control and decisions are being made, and that we're supporting them in the ways that we think, that they think, the local folks did, that we can win these elections. And I think, again, Beto's been talking about it all night. He's got me believing as I think about this. We have got to somehow figure out why 80 million Americans stayed home, many of them middle-class folks who thought that Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the rest of this circus was going to be better for them. How did that happen? And then figure out, listening to local folks and saying, here's how we can win here. If we don't believe we can, look, in many of these places, my congressional district, when I won my congressional district by 30 points in 2008. In 2016, Donald Trump won that district by 18 points, just that amount of time. So I would say to all of you is, don't write these places off. Don't write any corner of America off, any congressional district. Give them the resources. Help train the candidates. Do things like Powered by People that get people engaged, and just decide. I'm going to do Beto's. I worry about this, that we should all, I mean, me especially. I'm going to be sitting on my porch in a rocking chair, and they're going to say, what did you do to fight for the democracy? It better be everything we could do. And I think each and every one of us want to be in this fight. We've got to provide the avenues where that fight is. And I don't think the Democratic Party, as it's structured right now, maybe does that. Just by the way, we are not Democrats in Minnesota. We formed 2 parties. We are Democrats, Farmer, Labor Party. And I think that gets a little closer to where we should be, a little closer on the labor. So.
Yeah. How many of you have been to Dalhart, Texas? I don't believe you, but that's more people than live in Dalhart, Texas are raising their hands. Team, it's at the very top of the panhandle. It is so red, you can see it glowing from outer space when you're orbiting Earth.
It's like a 95% Trump.
It's very Republican. But to Tim's point, I don't give credit to the Republican Party so much, nor do I blame the people of Dalhart, but it's Democrats who frankly, present company excluded, stopped showing up and fighting for the people that they purported to serve and represent. Let's be honest with ourselves. For too long, if you were black, if you were brown, Democrats said, you know what, I already got their votes. Yeah. It's in the bank. I'm not going to show up and listen to them. I could care less. If you're white and you're rural, you know what, we're never going to win that. Right, in 2018, tried to do it again in 22. And I said, hey, I was calling when we were having the wildfires up there. Is everybody okay? Tell me how you guys are doing. And then we started talking politics. I said, what are folks talking about in Dalhart? Check this out. Number 1 issue, public ed. He said, our public schools, that's the economic lifeline. It's the largest employer in Dalhart, Texas. It's the source of pride. Friday night lights, right? That is Dalhart, Texas. And the governor, the Republican governor, wants to drain whatever resources we have and send them to the rich kids in Dallas. People are pissed off. Issue number 2, We're a rail hub here in Dalhart. Union jobs are really important. There is no one standing up for organized labor in Dalhart, Texas. So folks are pissed about that. Third issue, immigration. It's not a negative one in Dalhart. We're an agricultural community, and folks travel thousands of miles for the privilege of picking our food and making sure that our local economy is working. Yeah. To Tim's point, not a single Democrat on the ballot to make the case about fair wages and labor and public education and an immigration policy that means that if you want to come to this country, we're going to make sure that it's safe, that it's fair, that it's legal, that it's orderly, that you play by the rules, and America benefits from it. We have to fight on every front, in every district, in every single part of this state. That's the way.
That's the point. Good question.
Okay, we're coming up, and Tim, if you have time, we've got one more submitted question, and then I asked Aisha, so no pressure, to pick someone from the audience that's raising their hand.
We'll just try and go. I think, Beto, if I could, on some of it. Yeah. If folks just want to, maybe not even a question, just say, here's what you should be doing. Here's what I think. Just fast, we can get through more people.
Let's do this. We've got one more prepared that someone submitted. It's James Michael Robinson. That's the last one, and then we're going to follow Tim's lead on this. You have James Michael Robinson? Here we go. I'm going to give you the mic.
You're pretty happy about that win, aren't you?
Thank you for coming here tonight, gentlemen. As a retiree, as a veteran, as a recent I'm now on Social Security for the first time, and about to go on Medicare. I've been very concerned, but I want to say tonight, for the first time since November, there's a glimmer of hope. But what I want to ask you, I really inspired what I hear tonight, but why aren't our Democratic leadership being more aggressive about fighting this crisis, existential crisis for this country?
Yeah, well, thank you for all that. I only got a couple more years. How is it to get that Social Security? I used to say this as a teacher. Teachers know this. I worked my ass off because I wanted those kids to get the best education and go out and achieve their dreams, but I'm a little selfish. I wanted them to get a good job, pay their taxes, so I can collect Social Security and retire. That's how it works, so I'm happy you're on it. Look, Beto and I are asking this. When this started to happen, I heard that primal scream of do something. I called a few people up. I called him. I talked to Bernie Sanders, who's working his ass off to do some things. AOC. Yeah. And we get to decide what the party looks like. We get to decide what the future looks like. And I don't have the answer. Look, I know where my place is. I got an 18-year-old, Gus, and I'm without Gus out there. And I'm having one of those dad talks with him. I was giving Gus my wisdom on what he had done wrong. You know, I was being, because I know these things, right? I'm the dad. In the middle of it, he gives me the old, says the guy who got his ass kicked by Donald Trump. And I'm like, okay. But look, we need to acknowledge what happened. What I said and what we're saying here is we need to go out and listen to people. Look at people are telling you what you need to do. People are standing up and saying this is what is important to us. People are saying this is why I don't think the Democrats are winning and you should do this. We need to be capturing this. And why? Here's what I think happens. Beto was there. I was in Congress for 12 years, and we said that we were proud to be there. Both of us said we'd rather eat glass than be there now, so that's true. But I do think there becomes this comfort thing, and I'm watching it with these Republicans. They're apparently afraid of being primaried or whatever. How would you want that job so bad that you could lose all your dignity and just say that? I thought for sure, I won a congressional race in 2010 after I voted for the ACA because I figured I was going to lose. And I said, well, hell, I'll go back to teaching school because I'm going to vote to expand health care. And at the time in 2010, I thought the ACA was going to be the thing that fixed all. Let's all be very candid. Let's not just keep working on fixing the ACA. Let's get universal health care for everyone and get a better job. But I won that race with 47% of the vote. Third-party candidate, drained off boats, who I became best friends with, thank God, you know, type of thing. But look, I think people get fat and happy a little bit. I'm not going to criticize. and their strategy in this. Look, we all know a government shutdown would have been painful, but this isn't painful. This is painful, and it's going to get worse. So I would just say, I'm not going to criticize, but what I would say is, the folks who are willing, what Beto's saying, let's just vote people in who are going to fight their ass off. Let's just vote they're going to go, and let's just win these elections.
Yeah. You know, the arguments that Schumer was making he first told us he was going to fight this thing and stick with Democrats. Every single Democrat in the House, except for one, stood together because they understood that unity was the only leverage that we have at this moment of truth, at this unparalleled crisis, at least in our lifetimes as Americans. Chuck Schumer said he was going to stick with him. And then for some reason, he capitulates, he caves, and he surrenders. And listen, if it were normal times, and any time before now is normal by comparison, right? When Tim and I voted against every government shutdown. Ted Cruz shut down the government in 2013 and 2014 because he wanted to take away health care. Of course I voted against that. How stupid, how dumb, how destructive to our country. If these were normal times, okay, maybe I get the logic from Schumer.
That's it.
But to the governor's point, this is literally the crisis, not of our generation, but the crisis since the Civil War tore this country apart. And if we are found wanting in the breach at this moment, we will lose what Abraham Lincoln called the last best hope of earth forever. So no more playing nice. In my opinion, just mine alone, Chuck Schumer needs to step aside, resign, get out of the way. We need fighters in positions of power who are going to carry the battle. Fight the fight. All right, let's go popcorn. Real quick, one point of privilege. You wonder whether you have power as a single American, a citizen, a member of this community. Some of you know the next person who's going to approach this stage. I got to know her very well when she lost her extraordinarily beautiful daughter in the Santa Fe High School shooting nearly 7 years ago. If anyone would have had an excuse to drop out and not show their face again or be involved in the politics that so badly failed her, her child, and too many other kids in a state that leads the nation in school shootings, it would be this young woman that you're about to hear about. But not only did she stay in the fight, she worked on legislation. She got it passed on safe gun storage, which is one of the things that Tim Walz is working on and talking about. Rhonda Hope is the woman who got it done. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the mic.
Thank you, Beto. So as Beto said, my daughter died under Donald Trump's watch in 2018, and there was no way in hell that I was going to vote for him again. But as a gun violence survivor, I was watching the debates and watching your messaging, watching all Democrat messaging under a microscope. And I need it to be stronger. I need to hear the words, ban AR-15. If anybody sees my blue Jeep out there with my custom plates that say ban AR-15, that's me. So I'm speaking on behalf of the Uvalde families and the Santa Fe families. We need stronger messaging from Democrats across the nation on ending gun violence. It's the #1 killer of children across the country. Thank you.
We'll do this. We can do it pretty orderly. 4th grade teachers, some of you are here. We'll do this. We got folks who are waiting. Let's just pop around. We'll have folks. We'll kind of point. Then just tell us like you heard this, people are saying what they want to see happen. So go ahead, ladies. Yep. Yeah, I'll repeat the question. High school teacher, they can do whatever the hell they want because they're already in heaven. They already get in, so what do you have? Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. All right. So thank you, Beto, for organizing this, for being here. I've been volunteering for your campaign since 2018.
Yay. You know, I don't know a lot, but I know how to be a governor. He would be a great governor, just so you know. He'd be a great governor. Yes! Yeah.
And Mr. Walz, I have to say, you're on my bucket list of 2 Minnesotans to meet, you and Sharon McMahon.
Oh, she's the best.
Governors!
I will tell you.
But I don't know how to look at my students' faces and explain to them checks and balances, how the government worked, and say, but kidding, not right now. It's kind of demoralizing. I feel like I'm doing the work. I helped organize a bipartisan PAC for our school board to try to get vouchers out of our school board.
Wow.
I'm on the ground, I'm doing it, but I walk in to my state representative's office. He has a helmet for my high school sitting on his wall, but he won't talk to me. Our congressman...
Take his job.
What do...
Yes.
I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like, we're fired up, we're here, we want it, clearly, but I don't know what's next. I feel like I'm trying to do the from the bottom up grassroots, and it's not working. And we still don't have funding for students. We're accessing teachers because they increase the class ratio, because they won't release funding. What do we do?
Look, we're not going to, I wish I had the answer to it on it, but I think what we understand is this is happening across the country. There is a unified voice no matter what state you're in. The trick that we're going to have to figure out is to organize differently, powered by people, other organizations are out there. The Democratic Party's not going to come in and save it. We should be there to help facilitate some of this. So thanks for what you're doing. Sir, yeah. 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 Can you get a mic?
I'm so tired of seeing a bulldozer wreck what we have. I never thought at this age I'd be dealing with these criminals in office. And I think strategizing about what we're going to do as Democrats or as citizens at the most is an important thing. But my God, we need a boycott. We need more than this. We need a national boycott. We need to walk.
I'm with this guy. I'm with this guy on the national strike.
I've had enough of this stuff.
The Europeans know how to do it.
This has been nothing but
It's
normalizing. The media does nothing. I've been watching Cliff Catt, a comedian, standing up to what's going on. I appreciate what you two have done. Tim, it's been great seeing you. It's just great being here. And Beto, I've seen you and how close you came to being governor. Wonderful. But with a bulldozer taking this apart now, we can't be sitting here strategizing of what can be, but what is right now. We need to get in the streets. Somebody needs to say it. Somebody needs to say it.
Yes.
The Democrats have been way too weak. They've been way too weak. Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. There is a national day of action
It is planned for April 5th. There are more than 500 events organized around the country. You can go to the website handsoff2025.com. You can sign up for the nearest one here. If there's not one in your neighborhood, we expect you to start the one in your neighborhood and make sure everyone's organized. April 5, Hands Off 2025.
Don't wait for some leader who's elected. Just lead like you're doing. Just go. Just go.
Yeah. All right, you got one right here.
All right. Hi, thanks so much for coming. My name's Eric. I am a founding board member of Trans Rollers United, a completely trans and non-binary roller derby team. If anybody's interested in roller derby, they play in that building over there. But I've been unemployed since June of last year. And I've applied to 800 different jobs in the last 9 months. And with the executive order on gender in the workplace, it's been really difficult to try and decide. So I'm a social media manager, so my life is out there, by the way.
Get us in. There you go. Hey, well, look, it's cold in Minnesota, but we have protections and we're a sanctuary state for folks. Here they are, so just so you know.
I've seen your Facebook ads telling us to move to Minnesota.
That's correct. The cold isn't bad. You didn't. But it's overblown.
Trying to.
Yeah. Well, look, this. You see it, that they try and demonize, they try and take a segment of our population. Let's be very clear here. What the trans community is asking for is simple, basic human rights, and that's a very simple thing. It's a very simple thing. And when we start negotiating that is when we get into trouble. And so I think the biggest thing is that the states are going to be the protections on this now. I'm sorry for that, and I didn't come down here to poach teachers and things like that, but I've been telling our biggest companies or whatever, why would you locate into states where women are criminalized for their own health care, why somebody's identity is that? At some point, like this gentleman, we need to make them pay with their money. We need to make them pay economically. So I would just say, this is going to be a rough row. I think for all the rest of us, to be clear on this, just be standing up. And I go back to what I said in the beginning. If you're not for freedom for everyone, then you're for privilege. And why do we let them define rights like a pie? If somebody gets a slice of that pie of freedom, you don't lose some because they're not a goddamn pie. They're human rights, and it's not that hard. So keep fighting. All right. Got one? You guys ready? We got veterans. Yes, sir. Yay. There we go. I think, call that guy. There he's in. This is how it works. This is how it works. What are they offering your neighbors that we can't refute and give them something better and get out in that space? We got some other people. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. All right, everybody, let's give it one. Quiet. Give them your website or where they can contact you. People are watching. Yes. Good. Thank you. That's what we can do. We can run for office. You got some folks? You're here?
Governor, Congressman, thank you for joining. Town halls are great. This is a tough one, and you guys have brought up Elon Musk. Nature abhors a vacuum, and we've kind of gotten here over the last 20 years because of the rising deficit, the rise of debt.
Yeah.
Revenues are up 50% over the last 10 years. Spending's up 90%.
Yeah.
80% of the budget comes from Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, the defense, and interest on the debt. it's a hard decision. What are you actually planning on doing to fix that? Because we're going to all be in a very bad situation in 20 years.
I actually fall into this space. Well, this question that he had, I fell as a deficit hawk in Congress. I went to Congress and said I would not take a pay raise until we balanced the budget. I never got a pay raise. But making the case on this, here's the issue. States are required to balance their budgets. States are able to do this. The issue that we're going to have on this is that they've got us into the position on Social Security. I would make the case one of the biggest fixes to that long-term debt is to just raise that cap on Social Security benefits. That's one that's there. Let's have a conversation, and just to be clear, cutting USAID is going to mean we're going to have to spend more on weapons because we're weakening our soft power. We're weakening our ability across the country, more strategic. And I do agree, I am in this camp. If we as Democrats ignore long-term debt, if we ignore inefficiencies in government, we end up buying them. You can be progressive and ask for agencies to deliver and then hold them accountable and deliver the services. Because when we don't, we get in a situation like this that our neighbors think what Musk is doing is actually saving money. He's not. So I think asking this hard question of ourselves, I know in Minnesota, we simply balance the budget. I've had to make hard decisions. We've had to pull back on some of the spending in areas that I care deeply about, but we have a rule that what we will do is we will protect the most vulnerable first, and we will protect the gains that we've made. And that's the way that we should approach it nationally. All right. Well, go clear to the back. Yeah, go to the back. Freedom of speech. Don't get measles. Do not get measles. That's what we want. Gentleman in the back, clear in the back. Yeah. Yeah, you can holler right here. We're just trying to go fast. You want to get that? We don't have to, given that. Yeah, thanks for sticking up for us.
Yeah, great question. The state takeover of a school district here in Houston, HISD, local control out the window. Of all of the thousands of school districts in the state of Texas, how did they pick this one, right? Maybe related to, of all the places that you would want to close down polling places, not only the fastest growing black and brown neighborhoods, but college campuses right now. What are you afraid of, those who are in positions of power? Why don't you trust the voters and taxpayers and parents and educators to make their own decisions? If you believe in freedom, to the governor's point, it is freedom and liberty and democracy for each and every single one of us. How do we fix this? There is no shortcut. First things first, let's get behind great school board candidates who serve as trustees on these institutions. Elections coming up soon. Second, we've got to register and talk to the voters who can make a difference in this election. If you want to be a VDR, not easy work, but you want to walk the talk, sign up with Powered by People, we will put you to work. And then third, we have got to win political power statewide in the state of Texas to protect public education, a woman's right to choose, raise the minimum wage, legalize marijuana once and for all, protect veterans who put their lives on the line. Only by winning elections can we get that done.
We legalize cannabis and the winners are better. I'll tell you that. She's got a better shirt on. Let me ask a question. Yeah, go. Yes. Tammy Reed, school board.
Katie ISD.
Good. Yeah. on live to thousands of people. You know, there was a message in Minnesota. You know something that was super popular? In Minnesota, we passed a law that every child gets breakfast and lunch every single day for free. And here's your message. While these folks are banning books, we're banning hunger. So take it and run and make the case. So, we got a cavalry hat. We're going. Hey. Yeah.
Listen, Rogelio, who is representing the 956 right now, RGV,
Yeah.
says, what advice can we give him? He's running for school board. For all the school board trustees, folks running for
How many are running for office this year? Raise your hand if you're running for an office.
as many as you can. Good. Well, hello, you know why you're running, right? And so this is my free advice, worth what you paid for it. I would knock on every door of every likely voter. In a school board race in Texas, you can knock on every door of every voter. The turnout for school board races is 3%, 5%, 8%. It's not 50%. You can meet every likely voter. You show up and you do two things. One, you tell them why you're running and what you're going to do for them. Two, and I know you know this, Rogelio, you listen to them. You ask them, hey, what's important to you? My first race running for city council, knocking on my first door just next to Wrestler Canyon in El Paso. Hey, I'm Beto O'Rourke. I want to work on property taxes and make sure that public safety is a priority and that our parks are green. And the woman stops me. She says, that's wonderful, but I want you to save this canyon next to my house. Developers are going to build on it, so please save Wrestler Canyon. Second door, I knock on it. I give her my spiel. She interrupts me. Hey, I want you to save Wrestler Canyon. Third door I knock on, the woman answers. Hi, my name is Beto O'Rourke. I'm here to save Wrestler Canyon. we won that city council race. Rogelio knock on every door, listen to and talk to every single voter.
That's fabulous. Let's do a couple more. Yes, ma'am. Right in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. The question is first responders, our firefighters, our public safety officials, and yeah, look, it's just like veterans. Republicans they'll stand in front of every veteran group they have, but when it comes time to stand behind them, they're not there. Beto and I were in Congress when we watched the Republicans try and take down the 9/11 first responder bills for the folks who received that. We need to hold it accountable in Minnesota. We need to make sure that I stand in front of them and tell them we're going to fund for them. The issues around first responders is really challenging now, something we passed in Minnesota, and I would encourage it nationally on this. We see an incredible amount of rare cancers amongst firefighters. I think all of us know why, because of where they're around. We don't make them go to court or argue that. If you get a rare cancer and you are a firefighter, it's presumed in the line of duty, and we pay. We pay you, your family, and everything else. Those are the things we have to do.
We have a 16-year-old.
Got it.
And it's 8 o'clock.
So thank you for coming here, Governor Walz. I'm a little nervous, sorry, but
We're glad you're here.
thank you. So I'm not from the Fort Bend County area, but I saw y'all were having a town hall, and my mom's right there. She
Thank you for getting in here.
She gave me the option to get signed out of school and come here or stay in school, and
That was a good choice. Teachers will sign off. They'll sign off.
so I wanted to. I'm a high school student. I'm a sophomore. I'm 16 years old. I'll be able to vote in the next midterm.
Yeah.
And the Democrats want to figure out how do we get the youth in politics. Well, I have a suggestion. If we think back to December, right after the election, our excellent representative, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she was running against Jerry Connolly for the oversight chair, and Jerry Connolly won out of seniority. And if there's anything that pisses high schoolers off, it is seniority. That is sick.
This is a good point.
So if we really want to get them active in politics, we really have got to stop with seniority and give it to the most deserving candidates.
Yeah, thank you. Beto, remember, I lost one of those races. I lost one of those races in Congress, but I eventually got the seat because the person who beat me went to federal prison. Remember that? True story. True story. So, look, not only can you vote next time, you could also run here at some point, too. So come up and take a picture. Let's take a selfie. Come up here. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah, thanks for coming.
She wants to ask a question about women's rights in Texas.
Let's have it. Explain the shirt to me first, though. All right, there you go. Thank you.
I have a mother that taught school for 38 years that taught 4,000 kids to read.
Wow.
But as a woman, I'm concerned about women's rights.
Yeah. Well, look, I said this, and I thought it was the strongest pitch when we were trying to get votes at the end. I said, if for no other reason, vote for us so you don't have to see this guy on TV every goddamn day. And I want right now, and I've said this might be the most unsatisfactory I told you so political tour in the history of the world, but let's just all agree that Kamala Harris was probably the most qualified person to run for that office. And we're kidding ourselves. We are kidding ourselves if we don't think because we have a highly qualified and accomplished black woman running that that's why people voted the other way. So we'll stand up, stand for it. Thank you. Grateful. Yeah, get us in here. I got a state I got to go govern. But I think we can stay a few more minutes. I know we had you here. You've been here a long time, but if you want to stay a little longer, let's go. Let's hear a few more folks. So, yes, ma'am. Over there.
How do we stop these assholes from taking this and turning this country into a Christian nationalist country?
Pax the church. Pax the church if they're going to talk. So. You're worried. There's a big deal here. Yes.
You know, the governor may not know this, but there are no campaign finance rules in the state of Texas. The governor of the state of Texas can, and he did, take a $6 million check from one billionaire Christian nationalist donor, and you wonder why he has such a hard-on to privatize public education. And it is because of the money. Always follow the money. I said it earlier, these guys are crazy. They're very often criminal, and they are always corrupt to the core. That's where this stuff is coming from right now. Yeah. So we've got to fight back with these school board elections. We've got to win state representative seats. We've got to beat the governor. We're not going to do it if we start working in 2026. We've got to start working in March of 2025.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Branch. I'm from Orange, Texas. I drove 2 hours to be here because Dave Phelan is my representative and he does not represent me. My question is, and I think the majority of the people that are sitting around here will agree, when are they going to start impeachment process on Donald Trump?
So, listening to where you're from is great because I love this because you know that the news story on several of those stations is going to be you were all bust in here. What are you going to do with your George Soros money, all of you? You're going to buy something new with that? Look, speak to them. Tell them what has to happen. And Democrats we can't do that. We can't do this. Look, there were opportunities after the 2020 election that folks should have moved and done things and did not. And now we got into this situation where we're at. We can't make that mistake again. And I said this, we're going to get back in power. And Donald Trump said he was going to be on a revenge tour. And I said this, I said, well, what are you going to do? I said, we are too. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to rain down health care on people. And we're going to rain down education on people. And we're going to do what people are asking us to do. But look, don't allow anyone to tell you anything that's happening now is normal. Don't allow anyone to tell you to calm down, that it's not as bad as you think. It is, but look, someone asked earlier, and I didn't answer the question. I'm not saying this is a silver lining, and the destruction they're doing, the bulldozer, as it was described, is happening. We need to make sure when we build back that we're building back to make sure that everyone is heard, and everyone is represented, and everyone is seen. Let's do one or two more. You call it. You got a few. You got some folks? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which was founded by one of the Koch brothers, so it's not a left-wing think tank,
Yeah.
did a study in Texas from 2017 to 2022 that showed that legal immigrants are 46% less likely to commit a crime.
Yeah.
60% less likely, and even illegal immigrants were 40% less likely to commit a crime than native-born Texans.
True.
Was that not run on a Democratic loop?
Because we're bad at this.
Yeah. So this is the thing. You know, if you think that elections are won on policy, do you think the crazy shit that Donald Trump said would have polled well? Invading Greenland, taking over Panama, making Canada the 51st state of America, decimating Social Security, Medicare, and none of this shit is popular. The one thing that he showed is that he's crazy enough to believe what he's saying and to see it through. Democrats who support every popular issue in this country, including this one on immigration, have, present company excluded, they've shrunk from every single fight in front. Oh shit, is immigration going to be on? Well, maybe I just won't talk about it and it will go away. Maybe I just won't visit the border and nobody will notice. Maybe I just won't do anything for the people who have come here and made America great by their very presence. Well, listen, we are going to stand up and fight for all of us, including the immigrants. El Paso, Texas, my hometown. One of, if not the safest cities in America, not despite, but because it is a city of immigrants who have chosen to make their stand in this country. Houston, Texas, the most diverse city in the United States of America. And we are so fucking proud of it. And we're going to lead. We are going to lead on these issues. Voters smell fear, they smell weakness, and they smelled it in our party when we didn't stand up and fight for the people that we believe in, the people that we historically served and protected, and did not have the courage of our convictions. No more, folks.
I agree.
The defining line as our party is you fight or you surrender. We are going to be a party
go
of
into those
fighters.
spaces.
We're going to do it.
You want to go one? Yeah, go. We got to go. Catch a plane.
We fight propaganda by telling the truth. That's the question here. When we don't fight it, let me just tell you one quick thing, point of privilege. When we don't fight it, and you have this guy in the highest position of power in the land, and he keeps talking about invasions, and he describes people as though they were animals, that's his word, as dumb beasts, and he treats them that way. He puts them in cages, like you would put a dog or a wild animal that you're about to put down, but it's a human fucking being. When he says this, when he's at a rally in Florida in 2019, he says, folks, what are we going to do about this invasion? And folks, at that rally, someone yells out, shoot them. And everybody laughs, and Donald Trump smiles. Months later, one of our fellow Texans drove with his AK-47 from Allen, Texas, 600 miles to El Paso, showed up in my hometown of August that year, walked into a Walmart in full battle gear, with hundreds of rounds and started shooting people. He told cops afterwards when he was arrested, he said, I came to kill Mexicans. I came to repel the invasion that I was warned about. That's not just on Donald Trump. That's not just on that terrorist who came in and killed all those people in my hometown. That is, to your point, on each and every single one of us who did not stand up to be counted at our moment of truth for this county. So let us not make that same mistake again. We are going to fight for one another. We're going to do it every single day.
Yes, yes, yes. Hi, Beto. Hi, Coach Walz. My name is Maha. I am born and raised in Fort Bend, live in Sugar Land. Shout out my Sugar Land people. Lived here my whole life, and I am a first-generation Pakistani Muslim American. Thank you. I spent this entire election cycle running around my community trying to get as many people as I can to vote for you, to vote for Kamala, and one thing that was really difficult to overcome was Gaza. It is such a difficult situation, and it is so painful to our community. And yes, and I agree. What I wished we felt from your campaign was just emotional honesty. And when I talk to people and I explain to them that there is a difference between the two of you, there is. The running theme was, I can't feel that. Yeah. And so my question is, do you feel like the obsession of decorum was the downfall of the Democratic Party this election cycle? And how can you, as an elected official, convince your colleagues to be a little bit more emotionally honest? Also, Beto, you need to run for governor again.
Well, this is what Beto was just explaining. People understand that when you get caught in the middle and you try and message something instead of trying to just state where you're at. I've gone that issue for years. I did it as a congressman. I did it as someone who taught global culture studies. And look, when we left the city of Dearborn, basically so that Donald Trump could go there and speak, is it any surprise that people voted the other way? And I think if we're not learning from those lessons, and I said, I own all these, because I'll go back to this again. Had we won that damn election, we wouldn't have to be having this. But I also would ask you all on this. Do you think that had we won this election, that they wouldn't be in the streets? You don't think they would have been screaming about everything, that energy? You know it. You know it. So I hear you, acknowledge it, and I think if we fail to learn these lessons, it's going to get pretty dark. And again, not for candidates. It's going to get dark for the most vulnerable. So, all right. Sir, you've been waiting a while. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look into that.
Sure.
Why are you wearing a coat down here is what I want to know. So. You've been here a while.
Yeah, no, I think the one thing I want to say, there's so many issues.
Yeah. How's that? There you go.
There's so much going on. I don't know that we can wrap it all up. There's too many questions. I think what I'm asking from you guys as you're running is kind of, I forget your name, but Maha?
Yeah.
Being truthful, kind of wearing your heart on your sleeve, you've already done so. I think there's so many issues that are misunderstood in the Democrat, liberal, whatever parties. People are just confused. And coming from Minnesota, now living here, I agree with gun rights. I agree with people that shouldn't be here not being here. But there's a fine line. That doesn't mean everybody that has come to America is a threat.
Yeah.
And so I think addressing that and being really honest with that the next go-round is really, really important, so that there isn't confusion thinking, oh, we're all for having criminals here, or we want AK-47s and ARs. That's not the case.
Yeah, they're masterful at the messaging. I never saw anything in my life. Everyone here who's a veteran, and I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, where you were at, there is not a single veteran in America who has any doubt whatsoever of how screwed up what happened with this text chain was and what they were doing. That is not even debatable. But look, they're going to weasel out of this, and we had to listen to the shit about Hillary's emails for 3 years. So I'm with Beto. Nobody's going to fix this for us. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be over tomorrow. I would say buckle up and be in this thing for the long haul, because that's what it's going to take. Okay, we ready?
I'm gonna just do a quick housekeeping deal, and then we're gonna ask Governor Walz to make some closing remarks. First of all, I cannot thank you enough. I feel exactly the same way Tim does. This makes me far more hopeful right now than when I woke up this morning, to know that you would come out, that you would be in this fight, that we are in this moment of truth. I have faith that we're gonna come through. I can't see the path. I don't know how long or how hard it will be, but I know the company with whom I travel, and we could not have picked better people to be here tonight for the long haul for this fight, so thank you. We are going to be tempted along the way to despair. As bad as it has been over the 3 months, let's be honest with ourselves. With both houses of Congress, with the Supreme Court, with all of the oligarchs, the billionaires, the tech bros, the White House itself, they have unparalleled power. We have never seen this before in American history. And we know from past practice who they are going to train their wrath on. It will be the most vulnerable. It'll be people right here in this community. It'll be people who in some cases will not be able to survive it. We have to be there for them and for one another. And we have to resist the temptation to despair. There are going to be days when you say, fuck it, I give up, I give in, I guess this thing's over, I'm just too tired to fight anymore. Remember this, action is the antidote to despair, and it is the key to victory. Run for office, knock on doors, meet with your neighbors, volunteer, go to that food bank that is struggling right now to staff all of those open positions. You show up at the airports when they're trying to deport people. The next immigrant student that they abduct at the University of Houston, like they just did at Tufts, like they just did at Columbia, they're going to do it here. You know it's only a matter of time, not if, but when. We stand up for her, and we make sure that those who are dragging her off are identified, that she is afforded due process, that we fight for her, and we keep her here, because she's going to make this country better by her very presence. Do not give up. Do not give in. Do not go quietly into this darkness right now. Let us stand and fight. Are we doing pictures back here? After the governor's remarks, he has generously agreed to stay for a little while for anyone who would like to take a picture with him. I recommend you do it and get up here. So allow him to make these remarks, and then if we'd form a civil but fighting line right up here to get to the governor, he'll take a picture with you. So with that, Governor Walz, closing comments.
Well, you've been here, it's a long night, you got work tomorrow. Again, I'm going to say this on behalf of myself, thank you. This is good for the soul. And I'm with Beto. Look, I'm an eternal optimist. I supervised that damn lunchroom for over a decade, and I'm optimistic. We as Minnesotans, we walk on water 6 months out of the year. We are optimistic people. But Beto's right. We're in the fight. It's going to be a long one. But we are folks here who have the resources to come out on a Thursday night, to spend time, to drive here. We've got folks who don't know who we are, who don't know who to trust, and their lives are being put at risk. This is noble work. Those who came before us did it. This is our time. So thank you all. Texas, you're the best. You're the best. Where are they going? this.